All right, everyone. Plarium has just released their most insane event so far. It is absolute madness. I wanted to share with you guys some important info about the event, a few warnings, and just kind of give you the overall breakdown as well as some tips if you do want to participate. Now, let's take a look at it because it is going to be a tournament, but it is going to be one of these champion training tournaments, and they've actually revamped them a bit recently. Now, before these champion training tournaments, you used to only get points by leveling up champions in the actual tavern, which was really annoying, but now you get points just like for any champion training event. You get points pretty much from anything. So you need a lot of points for this. Now, it is a long event. I believe it's 10 days, so 9 days and some number of hours at the time I'd be making this video left. And if you take a look at it, you guys are probably going to get overwhelmed if you haven't seen it so far. Don't worry, I'm going to break it down in some more detail, but it is absolutely insane. Now, the first thing that I noticed right off the bat is there is a legendary as a reward. However, it's a legendary as a reward not from the global leaderboards. Every event that we have had so far, all the rewards that have been champions have been from the global leaderboards, which means there's only, like one person who's getting that reward. However, for this event now, they are giving out a Lysandra for every 250 players. So that means that every tournament bracket that they create, and for this tournament, something else to note is that the bracket is not 50 players, it's going to be 250 players, which is why I'm pretty far down the list right now. I haven't actually done any leveling of any kind so far. I just have a couple of points. But they are going to be giving out a Lysandra for every 250 players. So there's a lot more opportunity for the whales out there to actually compete in order to get this champion. Whereas before, there was only one. You had to get very specifically first place in order to get those champions. If you did not get first place, you didn't get that champion, and that means Plarium was only giving out a total of one copy. Now, the global leaderboards for this tournament are also a bit crazy. I thought it would be, just a couple legendary tomes, but no, it is 10 legendary skill tomes for first place. That is absolutely crazy. Now, granted, this event is going to be insanely competitive. This is by far going to be the most competitive event that we have seen in Raid Shadow Legends because of the insane opportunity that there is for a whole bunch of whales to end up getting this Lysandra right here. Again, there's not just one up for grabs now. You can get one for every 250 players. So the global leaderboards are going to be complete madness. As you guys can see, the event has only been out for, something like 8-9 hours, and we've already got somebody at almost 21,000 points in first place. That is absolutely insane. So you can definitely expect, my prediction is that number is probably going to be well over 100, maybe even 150, possibly 200,000 by the time that this event actually ends. Now, this leaderboard right here, you can see there's a lot of other prizes in the actual list. Mostly going to be epic relentless gear, some gems. I know there's some energy and some silver down here as well, but because this event has 250 players, you're going to end up getting rewards for the top 25. Don't let that distract you though. Even though there's a lot of rewards and it looks insanely good here, there's a lot more people that you're actually competing against, which means that, it makes sense that there would be a lot more rewards here. Now, on the non-competitive list of rewards on the right side of the screen, you can see that you need a total of 25,000 points in order to end up getting the legendary book as the last reward. That is quite a bit of points. This is a 10-day event, though. I will say that the 25,000 points for the legendary book, my prediction, it's definitely not going to get you anywhere close to the top leaderboard awards. As you can see right here, we're only about 8-9 hours into the event, and first place is already looking at almost 8,000 points. So this is going to be an insanely competitive event. Now, how do you end up getting points for this event? Well, it's very similar to the champion training events that we have, especially the really big ones. Pretty simple. Here is just a rundown. Let's see. It's going to be in the info section. So the champion training tournament is centered around developing and upgrading your champions. You earn tournament points in the following ways: leveling up your champions, upgrading your champion ranks, ascending your champions. You earn more tournament points for reaching higher levels, higher ranks, and higher levels of ascension. So a couple important things to know about the actual points that you end up getting from different level upgrades is that 1-star and 2-star both only end up giving you 1 point per level, which means that it really kind of starts to take off at 3-star and above, where you're going to get 2 points per level. Then 4-star it goes up to 3 points per level. 5-star, it goes up significantly, all the way up to 6 points per level. And 6-star is going to give you 8 points per level. Of course, getting 5 and 6-star champions is a pretty rare thing, so it makes sense that they give you a pretty decent number of points per level. You also get points upgrading a champion's rank. 1 to 2-star is going to give you 5 points. 2 to 3-star, 15. 3 to 4 will give you 50. 4 to 5 will give you 100. And 5 to 6-star will give you 400 points. And of course, you also get some additional points for ascending champions. Just like they had it before. The big improvement to this event compared to previously is you used to only get points by using brews and upgrading champions through the tavern. Now you get points by leveling them up in the campaign, just like you would for any old champion event. So now there's a couple of things that I wanted to mention about this event, a few warnings, a few tips, especially if you guys are going to participate. Now that's a decision that you guys are probably going to have to make individually. Now a few things to keep in mind on whether you do decide to participate or not are you have to keep in mind that, especially depending on the people that are going to be in your bracket, it might be worth it or it might not be worth participating in the competitive aspect of it. Now, the right side of it for getting 25,000 points, it doesn't matter who is in your bracket. Everyone has the potential to get all these rewards. There's no competitive side to it. But I would say a huge tip for those of you guys who are trying to go for Lysandra, which is going to be really difficult to do, or even just any of the other leaderboard prizes that are more competitive in nature, where you are competing in points against other players, and your results are going to depend based on how much other people are participating in the event. I would definitely scope out your 250 players. I know that this might be a bit difficult to do, but try to get a feel and see if you recognize any really big whales, or recognize somebody who you know is going to make this event just completely impossible for you to get first place, or, you know, just kind of take a look at it. I know it's not going to be easy, especially considering there's going to be a lot of people's names that you might not necessarily recognize, but maybe you see somebody, oh, this guy is always, you know, at the top of Platinum. Maybe it's going to be really difficult to compete against him because he's already extremely competitive in the Platinum arena. Or, oh, I remember this guy from another tournament in the global leaderboards. He got first place, so, you know, he's probably going to be pretty competitive, making it very difficult for me to compete in this event. Now, something I have noticed is Plarium has a certain kind of algorithm, which is a bit sneaky and a little bit tinfoil hat, but this has also been proven to be true multiple times, that the better you end up placing in previous tournaments depends on how they place you in brackets in next upcoming tournaments. So if you do really well and you're kind of recognized as a whale, Plarium is going to put you in tournament brackets with other whales because they know that you are going to compete against them in order to get those first place rewards. It doesn't really make sense putting whales in brackets with free-to-play players and not whales, because the whales are not going to have to spend a lot in order to get the top rewards, and the free-to-play players will have absolutely no way to ever even compete. So they like to kind of keep it in different brackets. When they recognize that you do well in the tournaments, they'll put you in tournament brackets with other players who they also recognize do very well as well. So a couple of other tips and pointers for those of you guys who do wish to participate in this event. Of course, scope out who is in your group of 250. Something else very important, guys, if you are participating, rushing too much at the start of this event is going to increase your competition. Remember, the majority of this event, especially for those top prizes, is not going to be getting these rewards here on the right. It's going to be the competitive rewards. And if you rush at the start, all that's doing is showing to everybody else that you are being very competitive, and you're going to get a lot of people really kind of pushing those leaderboards really early on and making it a lot more difficult, especially if you have people who are also really trying to get that first place reward. I'm not saying it's not worth competing right at the start, but I wouldn't go too overboard, because you're just going to end up making it more difficult for you in the long term. I would say, honestly, probably not a bad idea for this event, especially if you're ranking up a bunch of champions. Probably not the worst idea to keep a lot of your higher starred champions in your actual champion vault, and then wait maybe until the last day or a couple days of the event, or even a couple hours if you really want to be sneaky, and wait to upgrade a lot of your stuff until the very end and just get a massive burst of points so you kind of catch somebody off guard. And that way people are not going to know that you had all those points available to you until it's going to be too late. So another big point for those of you guys who are wishing to participate, The next thing is upgrade your champion smart. Now, I know a lot of people are going to ask me, if you are participating in this event, what is going to be the best way to upgrade your champions? And I've talked about this a lot in videos before. Because this event is very similar to a champion training event, what you're going to want to do is, if you are participating in this event, looping back to that kind of idea that 3-star champions is kind of the threshold where you start to get more value for your upgrades. 1 and 2 stars will only give you 1 tournament point per level, but once you get to 3 stars, you're going to start getting 2+ points per level. So that's really important, because at the earlier levels, it takes roughly the same amount of experience to level up champions, even if they're 1, 2, or 3-star. So what I would do is, if you are competing in this event, when you do get 3-star plus champions, even if you're not going to rank those ones up particular, if you're going to use them for food, I would say it's probably going to be worth tossing a brew or so on those champions. Just as an example, if I have a food champion here and I toss a brew on it, this is a level 4 one, so a brew is not quite going to get it to level 10. You might end up needing to use like a 1-star champion as well, just as a little bit of an extra booster. If we have a 3-star champion, though, and we decide to use a brew on it, you'll see that a class-specific or an affinity-specific brew will get it just to level 10. That's 9 levels. From 1 to 10 is 9 level upgrades at 2 points each. That's going to be 18 extra points. Now, something to keep in mind, that if you do this, you're only doing it for the tournament points, because what you're going to do is you're now going to use this level 10 champion that you just used a brew on, and you're going to sacrifice it to use as food to upgrade another champion. So if you guys are not being competitive in this tournament and you're not trying to get points, you don't need to do that. Save your resources, because you're really not getting anything out of using brews on champions just to get levels for the tournament, besides pushing your tournament results up. So if you don't think you stand a chance, or you know you're going to get the 25,000 points before the 10 days is over anyway, you don't need to do that. You don't need to waste your resources, and it's much better to just do it the normal way. But besides that, if you're really pushing for it, that's an extra way to end up getting a few additional points right there. Take advantage of the sparring pit as well. For those of you guys that have it, that's another way to get points. You do end up getting points by leveling up champions in the sparring pit, which doesn't take energy. It's not a whole lot, but hey, it's a little bit something extra right there. So that's going to be another little tip for those of you guys participating. Be careful using all of your resources on this event. I will stress this right now, guys. This event is absolute insanity. It is going to drain even the most whale of whales of their resources. And I have a feeling, tinfoil hat time, I have a feeling like something else big is coming up in the future, whether it's going to be a Valentine's Day fusion or some other event. Maybe the patch is going to be dropping very shortly after this with new content that's going to require energy, but this event is going to be insanely resource intensive. So if you guys don't plan on pushing for those top rewards, or if you just don't plan on participating because you don't really see yourself getting a lot of enjoyment out of this event, then, something to keep in mind, especially if you don't have a lot of resources, is there might be some stuff coming up in the future that will require those resources. You guys know how Plarium likes to be with stuff like this. They know that people are going to use their resources, and if they release some other crazy content in the very near future, then people are going to have to either buy those resources from them to participate in that new content, or they're going to have to miss out, and nobody likes to miss out on new stuff when it comes out. So very important. You have to make that decision whether you guys are going to participate or not, what resources you have available to you in this event, and overall, all these decisions, tips, warnings, the stuff and info that I've thrown at you guys, it's a lot to take in, but the absolute most important thing about this event, and any event in Raid Shadow Legends, is at the end of the day, you really just have to ask yourself the question, am I going to have fun? Is this something that I'm going to enjoy, or is this something that's just going to cause too much stress? I don't want to put a bunch of resources into it and then end up not getting the rewards that I'm trying to get. And if you guys feel like this event is just too much and you're not going to enjoy it, I would say just skip out on it. It's not worth it. Trust me, even for the rewards that might seem insanely good, if it's going to completely ruin your enjoyment of the game, it's going to be a hard pass. So hopefully you guys are able to use these tips and information to kind of judge your opinion and gauge whether to participate, how much to participate in this crazy new whaling tournament event, whatever you want to call it. It's absolute insanity by Plarium. I really hope that this video helped out in some way, shape, or form. So with that all being said, that is going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Of course, thank you guys so much for all the support. Getting really close to 30,000. If you want to help out, tossing a like means more than you can imagine as well, and more Raid Shadow Legends videos, guides, tutorials, and all that fun stuff should be popping up on the screen right about now. Feel free to check them out. Over 100 raid videos in the playlist. Have a great day, everyone. This is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.